and start with this. So in today's live webinar, we're going to go over our new page designer here in the Memory Book Online program. So where I am at right now, I am just past the login page. I am on the home screen, which a little bit of an updated look, but it still has the same modules here that we've had, such as, tag these photos, where if you need to upload images and you still have to apply tags to them, they'll show up here so you can get those. We have our page status, which is at a glance going to show you just how you're doing. So I mean, it'll go through, you're not started, you're in progress, you're completed and submitted. Your countdown, and then upcoming events, such as like when you need to get your cover in, portrait CD, your book due date and estimated ship date. Now, of course, my numbers here on book submission estimated, this is just my demo account. So, and then it's going to tell you here, another little spot here's images, and it's going to tell you total allowed photos. Now, this is just really when you're uploading your images, this is not, there's not a limit. You're not really limited by any photos you upload. It's just the program is kind of giving an estimate on, you've got this number of pages and that this is how many photos it kind of estimates to fill the book. So moving on from here, so where we're going to go, you'll notice that in last year or previous years of the program, the main way to navigate around the program was to the upper left. You'd have plan, photos, and pages. That has changed. All those navigations are over here now, but you're primarily going to go under these main two, plan and create. So under plan, you're going to find your page ladder. You're going to find your staff, where you can go and set up your staff logins. Fonts and styles. So under fonts, this is where you're going to go to add all your fonts to your collections. Styles allows you to go ahead and set up some pre-made font styles, so that way if you need to drag a text box onto a page, it has that particular font style for that, if it's heading or body caption and that. And under replay it, now you'll come under replay it to basically set up your image share that is there. Where we're going today, we're going to go under the create menu, and we're going to go under the new page designer. So here we are in our new layout. So for the most part, up at the top, the top file edit view, this looks familiar. Your page navigation, your zoom, this is still pretty familiar to everybody. Looks about the same. One big thing we'll notice here is that the tabs that used to be here on the right hand side of the program, they've all moved over here to the left. So what we're going to do, just basically, this live webinar session is mainly an overview of where you're going to find what's going to do. So we're just going to jump right in here, just kind of go in what you still have and what you have available. So under the file menu, you still have your save as template, save as click and go. You will see spots here that we're working on to get more into the program is practice pages. So what practice pages are is basically that. So you can create a new practice page or save an existing page as a practice page. But then that practice page saves up under the template section. But basically it's a page where try formatting to where place pictures on. You can play with the different formatting effects, same with text, just to kind of practice and see what you can do. And then basically go down the line, like if you have other elements in your book you'd like to apply those to, that way what you've done in your practice, you'll then know how to go do that on other spots. Now, another thing with practice pages is you can build a practice page up to be an actual page. So let's say that you've worked on this practice page and you got to a point where like, you know what, I really think I want to use this in the book somewhere. So that's when that practice page would show up under the designs, and it would be up under custom. But we're working on getting that here for you. So it's not quite here all the way yet. But you'd then be able to drag and drop that practice page on and start working. You're also under the file menu, you're going to find page info. So if we click that, just at a glance, when it was kind of last edited, if it was assigned to anybody, you need to mark it complete. And view PDF. Now this is your proofing PDF. This is the same as on your top toolbar here. You have a little preview page. So view PDF is the same as the preview page, and that allows you to generate a low resolution PDF proof for you to review your pages. Also, as a quick selection, your save is this little disk icon that is here. It'll only highlight for you once you've actually made actual changes on a page. And we move over to edit. Under edit, you're going to still have your undo and redo, and there's quick selections on the top toolbar there as well. You're also going to find your cut, copy, paste, and delete. There is a change background option here now, and we're going to actually we're going to come back to this in a little bit when we work with backgrounds. Find, replace, and spelling. These are for reviewing your text as you're going through the yearbook building process, and also you'll use these probably more towards the end of the process when you're wrapping up on your pages and you're reviewing them. We have our select options. These, if you want to select everything on the page, or then if you want to get specific, images, text boxes, shapes, anything that's incomplete, such as, if you want to select just the empty photo boxes, or actually it's going to select empty photo boxes and text boxes that are on a page. So it could help you kind of highlight those, show you where those are. If they're behind stuff and you either need to utilize them or remove them, but definitely handy. Or if you need to find locked elements, they'll help you find those as well. So if you're ever having trouble removing something from a page or trying to move something on a page, and you kind of have a feeling it might be a locked element on the page, select and locked elements will definitely pinpoint that to you, just to make, just so you're sure. That way you can unlock it or do what you need there. Under view, we're going to have our hide and show rulers, the rulers up across the top. There is hide page margin, which hides the blue page margin going around the page. Really don't suggest that one. It's always kind of helpful to kind of leave the margins on. There's hide grid lines, so that'll hide the grid lines because the grid lines are automatically appearing on the pages this year. Now, another quick way, if you want to toggle between grid lines and not having them, is down here in the bottom right corner. We've got a little set of controls here. This very bottom one has the hash marks there. That's our grid lines, so you can easily toggle, turn them off. Now I'll turn them back on. So if we're going down, we also have a snap to grid feature. So a snap to grid is on. It'll move by half a grid mark here. This option used to be always on. So now it's one of those, unless I've turned it off and it's just stayed off of my demo. So you guys might want to check that. Because once you turn it off or on, you'd then be able to come back and flip between those. Hide guides, lock guides. With guides, if you need to use guides to help with aligning or if you're creating your own page, and kind of setting up your own spots. Guides can be brought down from the rulers. So horizontal is going to come from the top, vertical is going to come from the side ruler. Now, if you need to clear those off, just go back, go to view. You can either, if you just want to hide them, you can hide them. Or if you want to completely get rid of them, do you clear guides. You can do all, or if you just want to do one, either the row or the column guides. Also down here we have your zoom in, zoom out, and fit to window, and that's all up here at the top too. And you're also under review. This is where you're going to go for facing pages or single pages. If I move over one, I'll save my changes. Clear everything off here. I bet that page is locked. No, I'm going to go on. Actually, there we go. Okay, so you need to easily switch, if you're just working on one side or another. Now, definitely it's a good tool. If you're one that's working by yourself, probably keeping it open facing is going to be fine. Or if you have a student that is assigned to a spread, that'll be okay. But if you find yourself, let's say you have a large yearbook class, lots of students helping, you get to a spot where you have one kiddo that's assigned to the left, one that's assigned to the right, to avoid any save errors, because whoever, if they both have the spread open, whoever saves first, their changes are there. So when to avoid those save errors, what you'll do is each student will just come under view and set to a single page, and that way they're only working with the one page that is front of them. So who's ever on 62, if they save, their changes will not interfere with who's ever working on 63. And moving on, we'll go under arrange. Now, arrange last year, and seeing this might confuse some people, but in last year's version of the program, we had a spot called arrange, and this is basically arrange was where you'd go and move your pages. So that's, like, again, if we go under the create, that is now page mover. And what arrange is in the arrange menu, this is where you can go this year to lock and unlock elements. If you want to group elements together, so if you want to either make your own custom heading style that's made up of a few different elements, you can then group those together, save it as a click and go, and then drop that onto other pages there. Also going down here, this is where you're going to find your alignment tools. So if you you want to align some rows, you'll do align horizontally, columns align vertically. What arrange is here under here, it used to be arrangement. It used to be under the old format tab in last year's, but it's now just arrange. And what that's going to do is, if you're on collage pages or pages that have overlapping elements, photos kind of lapped, but if you want to change that overlapping, especially like on a collage page where, if you want to tuck a corner of this photo underneath another photo beside it and kind of rearrange that overlapping, that's what arrange is for. And then we have transform. Now, real quick, moving across here, the undo redo are here. There was the spelling check or spell check, preview page, virtual book. That'll take you to basically the virtual book here in the program. It's just a digital version of your book that you can flip through for proofing purposes. Now, the next little icon is the comment button. So comment replaces the notes that we used to have. Did get a real quick while I can fit this in. Can you show an example of arrange on a collage page? Well, I don't have many pages filled in, but I can just show it quickly here. But let me find, I might have something here. Actually, I'll do something here real quick. I'll just. Okay, so what I was talking with the arrange is, okay, so these are overlapped. If you wanted to change that overlapping, that's what this arrange is. You can either send it back, bring to front, bring forward, send it back, send it backward. So you can definitely work with those, bring to front, bring forward. So that's what those are when I talk about arrange. It just allows you to change the overlapping order of those elements there. Okay, so after going through, now I think I left off here. So comments basically replaces the notes that are there. So if you need to add a comment to your page, such as, add background, you can leave that, and if you're an advisor, you can leave that as a note for yourself, or if you have a team, a yearbook, that where you can leave a comment for whoever the student or staff member is that's working on that page. So once a comment is applied, you'll see a little comment spot hit up here. And down, you'll notice that down here in the bottom corner too, is you'll have a little 1, and that'll tell you you have a comment for this particular page. So if we click on this, it's going to show you, because you can drag the little comment kind of exactly where you're wanting to do. So you can keep track of it this way, and who's ever working, you can reply to yourself or a staff member if you want, but you can keep like a running list of this one says, if this is an advisor telling a student to add a background, the student or staff member or helper can come back later and, got it done. And then add their comment in there too. And that way it kind of helps either, it was hard, where am I going with this? That way conversation can easily be kind of tracked, and tasks can easily kind of be monitored here, just kind of seeing it like that. So here we go, I'm going to close those up. So now let's just kind of go down. Now that we've gone across the top toolbar, let's go down the tabs. So the Pages tab is still the Pages tab. So this will, as you've seen me just do a moment ago, it's where you can go and quickly access your other pages in the book. Now the going down, I'm under, there we go, that works. Now going down, there is designs, and designs houses all of our pre-made templates that are here in the program, as well as any templates that you have saved yourself. So if you had a layout that you wanted to take to other pages, and on the layout you did File, Save as Template, well, that template that you named and saved, that's going to show up under here, under the drop down, under Custom, and it's going to show up under My Templates. Now, if you had any templates saved in your 2020 account that were under the My Templates folder there, whenever your 21 account is set up, if your MBO job number has stayed the same, all of the all the templates that you had under just the My Template spot of last year's account will carry over to your 2021 account, and you'll find those here under My 2020 Templates. Also coming down here, so that's everything under Custom. Now under Page Surfer houses all of our full page, candid, and activity style templates that are there. Click and Go are not full page templates, but they're smaller groupings that can be added in. So here, let me toss on just a regular template here real quick. Nope. Okay. So have a decent looking template here. It's got, just full of photo boxes. But let's say that, it's like, I want to keep this bottom half. I want to take these two out, and I want to put some kind of headline in here or something. So I just selected them, hit the delete key to get those away. Could do a few different things at this point. One, you could just add a text box and do a heading here. That'll work. But also, if we go under the Click and Go, so there's under Click and Go, there's a whole bunch of different little groupings that you could put here. Infographics, scoreboards, great for sports pages in that, or say that you want to have other little things, sidebars, just like quotes and different little groupings of photos that are under there. I'm going to go under headline here. And if I go under the headline styles, if I find one that I like and I want to put up in this area, here we go. I'm just going to drag and drop one here. Okay, so we've got that there. So that's just example of what you can do with Click and Goes. They're smaller little groupings that can be used to fill in or modify any one of our existing templates here to make it completely your own. So those are Click and Goes, just small little groupings. One thing we do have, and I think this came at the end of last year, but now we have advertising templates, or at least it has advertising templates have their own section instead of be just lost amongst the fray here. So while you're working on those, we have half, quarter, eighth, full page models, kind of specific. If we go under the main templates one, this is where you're going to see a little bit of mix and match here, where we have templates that have maybe two 8 spots, 2 quarter spots, 2 quarter and a half. So that'll really kind of give you some flexibility when you're working on, or if you're doing ads and you're putting ads in pages. Definitely make use of the templates. Even have one here that's half, quarter, eighth. So I mean, those really kind of help with these type of templates. Really kind of help in those spots where you're getting down to where, well, I've got one of this and just a few of these left. What can I do? The template like this kind of brings it all together. And then going further down is our portrait section. Now these templates are going to be all for your individual student photos here. So you can look under all portraits, and this is going to be all the portrait templates that I have. But maybe you're looking for something a little more specific. So as you're going through the first part of the portrait templates here, they're categorized by size. So if you're looking for a particular photo size on a page, this is one route to go. Now, if they're also broken down by the amount of people or the amount that's in the template. So if you're not worried about size, more or less you're worried or wanting to find a template that when looking for a template, you're going to want to base something off your largest class size, and that way you can have consistency through the book. So if you pick, a particular particular template, you can then drop that on the other pages, and then that'll just ensure that you've got the same photo throughout the book. Now, you don't have to follow that rule. You know, some classes may be way smaller than your largest. I mean, you may have a class that has 27, but then you might have some other classes that maybe they've got 15 to 20, a little bit something a little bit smaller. You want to use something different, and that's fine too. But whether, you know, if you're mix and matching or you're going with consistency, we certainly hope to have the template here for you to do that. Okay. All right, excuse me. Now, moving down the tabs, next up is Images tab. This is where you're going to find and bring all your images here. Under the Images tab this year, you're only going to find your portrait categories and your activity. So it's images is just now purely your images in the program here. This used to contain the clip art under here, but we have, and when we get to the next tab, we've moved clip art to its own tab here, so you can be able to easily find it. And again, when you're building your pages here, again, a lot of times doing the photos, it's, you know, you bring it over, it's, you know, still it's drag and drop. So if you bring an image over and it highlights, you know, a photo box highlights green, it means that photo is high enough resolution and large enough to fill that spot. Now, once you drop your photos in, if you need to, you know, do any cropping or anything like that, so if we click on the photo here, we can double click on the photo, and that's going to activate the crop adjustment tool. So I'm going to just bring that down and have it right here. So something kind of neat about the images, and while you're working in the designer this year, is what happens if you have one more photo that you want to get added in. Well, before, you know, you'd have to save your changes, which up here I'm just going to go ahead and save that. So you'd have to save your changes. You would have to go all the way into the image library and find that folder that you need to upload that image to, and then upload it. And then, you know, once you have that done, come all the way back to the pages and start building. Well, now you really don't have to do that. Now, ideally, if you have a bulk of images, you still want to go to the image library and do most of your uploading there. But just kind of if you're working on something on the fly and you're like, you know what, I've got this one computer, or not one computer, I've got this one image that's on my computer. I want to toss it in here quick because I think it would fit in really nice. I've got a folder here of images that I just have over here on my other screen. But what you can do is, while you're in this area, is if you want to upload something, you can just drag and drop an image right here, and it's going to upload for you into that folder. And then from here, you can just drag and drop it on. So that's something that should help out a lot of people just when they're working on their pages and you're working on the fly. And that just kind of saves you time as well. So you don't have to go, you don't have to save, you don't have to leave this area. It just makes it really nice and convenient to, you know what, I'm going to drop in that one spare photo I need right here, and I'm instantly able to drop it back into my page and move on with what I have to work on next. So really nice add-in here to the program. So from here, moving down, we're going to go under art. Under art is where you're going to find, like, if you are not doing like a template, or maybe, you know, if you're modifying a template, under image frame, This is where you're going to find your photo boxes that are here. So the same, basically same designs we've had here. Just drag and drop a photo box over. Under shapes, this is just where you're going to find the different shapes like I used in the example earlier. So the shapes have all the same shapes as the photo boxes with the included line tool. So if you need to add a line to kind of divide some things or just add lines in for accent or something like that, you'll find those here under shapes. Okay. And here, clip art. Here's where you're going to find all of the clip art that is available in the program. So we'll have borders, headlines, icons. There's a lot of stuff that's under illustrations. And there's stickers. Now under theme packages, so if we click right on theme packages, that brings up the main folder. But if we click the arrow, what that's going to do is going to open this up so you can see all the theme categories that are underneath theme packages. So if your cover, let's say that when selecting cover this year, you just happen to go with argon. Under the theme packages here, we've got the argon backgrounds and the clip art to go along with it. Go back here. Also under the art tab is where you're going to find your backgrounds. Now with the backgrounds, mostly like before, anything that's in the main backgrounds folder here, whenever you will apply it just by, I'm trying to find something kind of nice here to, you'll apply it just by dragging and dropping it onto a page. So then you're going through changing up to other styles. You could just kind of keep dragging and dropping there. Now, one thing that is different from last year is last year you would be able to find or you'd be able to click on the background and remove it. You just, you click on it, delete it, and it was gone. Well, now once a background is applied as a background, it's there. So that way you don't have to worry about, if you're selecting things on a page, you can mainly go and worry about just selecting what is there instead of selecting the background too. So how do we change our background other than picking something from here? What if we need to remove it completely? What if you want to go with a solid color? What if you want to use theme art or your own photo? Well, this is where we're going to go back to that edit menu and go back to change background. So once we do edit and change background, we got this little menu that pops out here, and you can just leave this up and off to the side and keep it up while you're working. You don't always have to just close out of it. But here on the little pop-up here, so I want to get rid of this background, so I'm going to remove it. Now, to get other images such as our theme art, or if you have your own picture of something, you're going to find that you're going to come up here, you're going to do choose image, and I'm going to go to theme packages here. So we mentioned argon earlier, so I'm just going to go with argon again, and we'll select it, and then that's how we get the other backgrounds to be on here. We can choose, we can go up under anything else. So definitely make use of this. This is how you'll be able to change it. Now, if you don't want to use, let's say that you want to just go solid color background. Well, here we're going to make sure we're on the left page we're working on. Background color, we're just going to click this drop down and we're going to select the color that we want. This process right here, I think, has been made just a little bit easier from what it was before. Instead of just a toggle and it's that, what advisors used to have to do is add a shape to the page, and then go to the Format tab and add a fill color, and then hit the Make Background. So with those, that's 3 or 4 steps depending on how you went around that. Here, it's just pulling up the change background and actually just selecting a background. So I think that has been made a lot easier. Okay. I just saw a few things show up in the chat, just questions. Before I get too far, I'll kind of answer them here real quick. So one is, if you drag and drop a photo in from your computer, can you tag it right away as well? So with this one that I had tagged here, I can pull up the little information, just click the little information eye, and then you'd be able to add your tags to it. So yes, to quickly answer your question, yes, once after you tag it here, you can then hit the little info eye, tag it while you're right here as well. So good question there. Okay, another one. Is there one place where the grade levels clip art that says first grade, second grade? Last year they were in a couple of different tabs. They might still be, truthfully. A lot of that still is going to be under clip art. So we're going to go under, I think a lot of that. There's a lot of stuff. I think that's just class of that's under headlines. I thought, yeah, they had some more stuff that was here as well. That was some of the stuff that was there. Now I think a lot of the other stuff you're going to find still with under our theme packages. If you go under this main one, we'll have that here as well. And I'm not sure too many other places where that would be, but definitely it's going to be under headlines. And I don't think it's under here. But yeah, definitely I think, yeah, I don't think the headlines are all in one spot there. So I definitely check under headlines, and also check under the main theme packages to find headlines that you're looking for. Okay. So back to where we were, we just got a background on. I'm going to take away this. Okay, so the next tab down, moving on from art and clip art and backgrounds, we're going to look at the text tab. Now, adding text to a page this year, a little different, because this year we don't have buttons up here that say you add photo box, add text box, add new shape. A lot of the photo boxes were here under the art, under the image frames and that. So in the shapes, with text are kind of based on the styles that you have set up here. So to add text to your page, all you have to do is grab one of these styles and just drag and drop it over to the page. And then you'd be able to size that box and either complete out your headline or make this anything else. You can still change the font size, style, all that. But just to add text boxes to a page, you're just going to, from the text tab, drag and drop one of your text styles over and then start typing. Now, one thing you'll notice is we don't have a format tab to go to this year. What we do have is the contextual toolbar. So, and what this is while you're working on your, whether if you got a photo selected, formatting options are now going to pull up in this contextual toolbar. So it falls in line with a lot of other programs that you see that, when you have a certain element selected, just the options for working on that kind of show up. Kind of like if you're working on Microsoft Word and you highlighted some text and all of a sudden that little bold, italicized, underline little menu pops up around your text. So sort of similar, but it's just all up at the top. So if you have text selected, the contextual toolbar has all your text editing options. If you have a photo selected, it'll give you the photo editing options. I'm going to bring this up here a little bit. Okay, so again, with your text selected, you can change the font style, or you can change the font, the actual font. You can change the style if you'd like. It'll change down to whatever size in that you have set for that. You could just change the size to anything else here that you want. I wanted to go larger. There we go. Okay, so moving through down the way, you do have your bold, italicized, underline. This way you want to make it all upper, lower, title, and that. Your text alignment within the box is all right here. Also, you have different alignments where that text is within the box. Formatting and effects for that type, or you could delete it. Now, one thing we'll show you here is like if you want to add color, change the font color, or work with the box here. So I'm going to click on the color drop down, and I'm actually going to unpin it here real quick so I can move this. Okay, so when you first bring on the color, you'll have text color, and you can change that. Something's going to change that text, right? Just by clicking on the A. I think the A is already selected, so you'd be able to change the color. But what if you wanted to do a fill to the box or a stroke around the box? Well, here's where we're going to click on shape color. Now, once we click on shape color, you'll then see the fill and stroke options appear right here. So with our fill, let's see. Go back to shape. Okay, so now I'm I have a fill color, and I'm going to click here for stroke. Now, if I then want to change the size of the stroke, I can come back up here to the top toolbar and select whatever thickness that I want that to be. So, not everything's just kind of there on that format. Everything is right here in front of you while you're working on that element. So very, very nice. So if I'm going to close out of this now. If I select a photo, then I have photo editing options. I could add, stroke. There's already a stroke on the image, but if I wanted to change the stroke color, I could change stroke color there. Coming down the list, format and effects drop down. I'm going to unpin that so you can just kind of see here and zoom in a little bit. So we've got, round corners. Transparency, if you want to make certain stuff see-through. Well, that didn't work. Arrange. Bring the front. There we go. Now that I'm going over top, you can kind of then see the stuff that's behind there. And if you have, if you think you have photo that's a little too dark, you might kind of play with the tint there. Now, I'm going to push this aside. Another thing we have here is Snap Edit. What Snap Edit is if any of you were with a 2018, 2019, or at least before 2019, we used to have a thing called the photo aviary, in which you could kind of change stuff like tint on photos and stuff, and some other kind of levels and stuff on your photos. Well, Snap Edit kind of brings this back. So I'm going to click on here. So here's where you can kind of play with filters, or if you want to do a mask and stuff like that. But under filters, if you want to make the photo black and white on the page, you could do that. Or if you want to kind of look at Westerny or old-timey. You can do the sepia tone. Colorize will let you colorize a photo. Now, one thing I've kind of found here that really makes something truly colorized is you can double up on some of these effects. I usually, before I colorize, usually like to make it black and white. And then if I do color, that makes it really, really vibrant there. So kind of play with the colors a little bit. That way, so that way you can kind of find one that works better for you there. Mess with tone, brightness, contrast, saturation levels, all that's here. Now when you save, I'll just save here. What this will do is when you save something like this, the program makes a copy of the image and drops it into that spot there. While in your image library, you'll see the original in this one. Some other quick questions I saw pop up. Does this work on Chromebooks? Students could not help with yearbook when we were treated last year because of Flash. Yeah, you're gonna. I mean, we're getting away from Flash with this. This is a Flash-free designer right here. So yes, of course it works. Even if on last year 2020 accounts with the using the Google Chrome browser, that kind of worked. But you shouldn't have to. You're not going to have to download anything special with this. This is Flash free. So Chromebooks work, laptops that. We haven't really iPads. Well, the thing with tablets is, yes, you'll be able to access that, access the page designer and everything. But one kind of thing you'll notice when you bring up the designer on an iPad or tablet, you'll get a message that kind of says something about the best experience. You may switch to a desktop or laptop, which you'd still be able to do some of this. Just don't think you have the real estate. Basically, I don't think the screen and all that is large enough, but it's possible. I mean, we've tested it, so yeah, you can get on. You can get on the designer on an iPad and kind of drag and drop some photos and that. Typing might be a little hard there, so typing and adding in stuff like that might be better or best done from a desktop or laptop. But if you've set up a template for someone and assign them just to drop in photos or something from the iPad, they should be able to easily knock that task out. I've got another question here. When building a page and adding images, is there a way to expand the image selection in the site and make them easier to view? Really on when you're looking at the images here, we can list view and show you a little more, or you can go to grid view, but there's no way to expand this out any further. That is here. So now it's, I mean, it's going to be single. The thumbnails are a little bit larger for you to view than compared to list view, but this is kind of set as how far this can be. So, okay, so we're going through the questions and kind of coming through here. I'm going to show you flow here real quick. Bring this down, fit. I'll just clear all that off. I'll leave the background here. I'm going to go back under designs. I'm going to go under templates, and I'll just find a decent size template here. Okay. save that. Okay, so for flow, so if you have all your portraits uploaded and your classes already, kind of set there in the image library, once we got it, you got everybody in the right spot, and you're then have your templates on your page. You then be kind of you'd be ready to start flowing your students in. Now, one thing you'll kind of notice about how flowing and templates work this year is I've got a portrait template on here, but when I click on the section where the students would flow into, this is now it's what we call panel, a flow panel. And with the flow panel, you'll notice I'm selecting when I click here, I'm not able to select individual items. What you can do before you start flowing in, you can do some basics such as, pick the font, pick the font size, or if you want to do, color, stroke, and stuff like that. To this panel before you flow anybody in. But why this has been changed to panels is to kind of overcome some of the obstacles we've been kind of seeing in the past with flowing, such as, if one photo box was slightly higher or lower, this would throw off the order of names in a row. Or if the box size was actually smaller than the rest, you would see that get skipped. So what this panel does is it ensures that photos are all the same size, photos are all in the same, within a row, they're all in the same position horizontally, column, they're all in the same position vertically. And that way, everything's aligned. So that's going to create a smooth flow. So going down, if we go down here, we'll just pick a category. And I have flowed those somewhere. Okay, here we go. Class that hasn't been flowed yet. 48 available positions. 6. I think I hit that right on the money. Okay. So I got that. I'm going to pick name format. In the past, name format always used to default last name or first name then last name. Now the new layout here, last first is the default. So definitely make sure we'll choose that to change this depending on how you want them to flow, or how you want the names to look. So we got 45 images. We now have a start and stop on page that is here. Right now I'm going to keep it 62 and 62 because that's what page I am. Definitely if you have large middle schools that carry across several pages, definitely drop your templates on there, and then make sure you take a look at your start and stop pages. And once those check out, you would then just come down here and hit flow. Would you like to save your changes first? Yes. So everybody flowed in, and I've got those empty spots here. So everyone's here. Now I'm good to go on to another class or that. But with these 3 spots, let's say that I wanted actually those 3 empty spots to be up at the front. Well, what I can do is I can come back over to the left, reset my flow. Because the new flow, when you flow, if it doesn't use up all the spots, it goes ahead and takes them out. Whereas before, previous, if you had leftover spots, you would just go ahead and click and delete them yourself. How flow works now, it'll go ahead and remove those. But this can be adjusted. So now that I've reset this, if you double click on your panel, it'll actually bring it to where you can toggle on and toggle off these spots. So I added 3. I'm actually going to take 3 off the top row here. And then just click off somewhere, but then I can flow them back in. And everybody drops in all right here. With the resetting and being able to add spots in on a flow panel, another great way this will come into play is, or where you can utilize that is, what if you have students that come in midway through the year or at the end of the year and you want to get them into the book. What you would do in that situation is, if we just got a new student, if you had their image, you would go into the image library and upload their photo. Once back on the class page, you could reset that flow. Come to your panel and add that extra spot that you needed. And adding spots here, way easier than what it has ever been. Previously, last year and in the other seasons, if you had to add that student in, you'd still have to reset the class, you'd still have to upload their photo, but here on the page, you would have to copy and paste one of the existing boxes that is here into a row, or if you had to start a new row, you also had to copy a text box. Well, this just makes things more simpler here, just by you reset, you're able to come back to the panel and easily add that spot, and you don't have to worry about copying and pasting, moving that element to be in the right position. So this definitely works a lot better. Take that out, and I am going to flow them back in. Okay, now one thing you will notice is that after the flow, this is still all one panel. So what do you do if you have to, if you want to add some formatting, or you want to, let's say if someone has a long name and you need to fix a red X issue, a red X in a name, to where you need to make their name, if they have a long hyphenated name or just a long name in general, and you need to kind of take down the font size of their name. So how would you go about doing that? Well, with the new flow, and how this works is, after you flow, up here in your flow options, there's a little dotted button here. It's your flow options. Now under flow options, you can come through here and you can make your own panels. You can work with the names when you're building that. Now after your flow, though, you'll see this expand flow up here. So what this will do is the expand, and it does come with a warning, and you'll then hit expand. But what this will do is it'll then break this panel to where then all those student photos can be worked with individually in the text boxes. Ideally, you do not want to expand a class until you're pretty much know for sure that you have everybody flowed, and you're not going to be reflowing or you're not going to be reflowing or making a whole bunch of changes, because once you expand this, you'll not be able to reflow into that panel anymore. You've taken away your flowability. So definitely, ideally, when building these, go ahead and before I'm going to move off, I'm actually going to bring a page from history here. So ideally, before you start flowing in, you might do your font, your style, the basic formatting you can do to get you going. But then after the fact, once you've, oh, I brought that on from history and then it broke the flow. Here, let me put it back to here. Let me flow, reset. Okay. Because what we'll have here is once we expand this, and everything can be worked on individually, we're not able to well, if you've saved and go on, that shouldn't be working, but I'm gonna save. I'm gonna move to another page. Oh, I didn't. Oh, it's not been expanded. That's why. Okay. But yeah, no, just definitely make sure you get this flowed first, and then that way, or you get your template primarily the way you want it first, as far as that customization flow. But wait to expand this until you know for sure you're not going to reflow this group anymore, and then you can kind of work on some of the other formatting from there. So I know it's getting to 4 o'clock. We have really gone over what we've done on the other ones, but just wanted to make sure I definitely got this information in there for you. But if you do need to get back to this, we do. I'm recording this now. Like I said, recording will go out later in the week. And then if you have any questions from there, you can always please feel free to give us a call at 1-877-302-3140 or email us at memorybooktechsupport@jostens.com. All right, everybody. Because we've kind of run late, I'm going to go ahead. Is there a webinar on Replay It? We do not have a webinar on Replay It. Basically, I mean, really what Replay It is you set up under plan, you go to Replay It. It's image share. You set up you set up your start, you give it a start and end date. And then you'll have this link out here that you can send out to parents or create a flyer or that to get them. Basically, it's a basic image uploading site. So I just want to knock that question out there before we go. But to everybody who's still with me or has joined, thank you very much for joining me today. Hopefully, going over the new page designer, kind of prepares you for when you're building your yearbook. Again, have any questions, feel free, give us a call, send us an email, and we'll help you out best we can there. So thank you again, everybody. You have a great afternoon, and we will talk to you later.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.